For the latest in strategic affairs, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon for updates. This is StratNewsGlobal. I'm Amitabh reporting in Kabul, and we have with us Amir Khan Muttaqi. He's the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan's foreign minister. Muttaqi Sahab, Tashakkur, Manana, thank you so much for giving us time. I just wanted to ask you about India. For a year, there was no Indian presence here. We had left. हमारे जो diplomat हैं वो वापस चले गए थे. अभी जून से they have come back. There is slow movement. आपके अंदाजे में, what do you think has been the change in 1 year with India's involvement in Afghanistan?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Afghanistan and India have a very long history of relations. India is a great country in the region. Both countries have maintained political, economic, and business relations. India returning back to Afghanistan is a very good step. It facilitates transportation, people-to-people movement, and trade gradually. Ariana flights have begun flights to India. It's predicted that consular services will begin soon. So all of this is improvement and progress. We look forward to more assistance and more humanitarian aid from India as it has done before.
Muttaqi Sahab, as you said, humanitarian assistance that India has given, especially in times like this, whether it's wheat, which came either through Pakistan or from Chabahar, medical assistance, which has gone to the Indira Gandhi Hospital, COVID vaccines. How significant are all these for the Afghan people?
Afghanistan has gone through over 40 years of conflict and a lack of basic needs. We highly appreciate India's assistance of 50,000 tons of wheat, medical, and other humanitarian assistance. It has had a good impact on the lives of Afghans, especially Afghans who have economic problems. We look forward to the continuation of such assistance by India so Afghanistan can finally pave the way for its recovery, not be in need of help from others and be self-reliant.
Again, even when our diplomats were not here, we were sending aid, whether it was by flight or through the Wagah border in Pakistan. But now the diplomats are here in June. It's just been 2 months of engagement, formal engagement between India and Afghanistan. Where do you see it going in the future? What is your wish list in terms of how India-Afghanistan ties should progress?
Afghanistan now has a central responsible government over its entire territory, where everyone is held accountable to the center. Like we have good relations with the world, this engagement with India in terms of sending their diplomats, reopening the embassy, and raising the level of representation matters. From the diplomatic standpoint, it is very important and it works to deepen the relations between India and Afghanistan. You are sending diplomats to the Indian embassy and us sending diplomats to the Afghan embassy in India. This is the diplomatic engagement which will move us forward. This is progress and will advance engagement between India and Afghanistan to a much higher capacity now.
You're talking about Afghan diplomats in Delhi. They are already Afghan diplomats. Will you be sending diplomats from the Islamic Emirates to represent you? Has there been any talk between India and the Islamic Emirates about diplomatic movement?
The diplomats already present in India are diplomats of the state of Afghanistan. They have good coordination with the center, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They're progressing and talking about relations between India and Afghanistan. The embassy and the consulate both, but naturally diplomats have nations that end. In line with that, just as India makes changes, we look forward to the normalization of these exchanges. This is in line with the ending of nations and new diplomats maintaining our overall diplomatic relations.
Muttaqi Sahab, even I know for a fact that when our diplomats came back, we needed certain security assurances. We had certain concerns. Can you share with us what assurances have been given for the safety, say, of Indian diplomats or Indian interests?
We are very happy that for the last 12 months, since we have come to power, we have provided security to all diplomatic missions here in Afghanistan. They're working safely. There is not a single security incident that has been directed towards them. As a responsible government, we deem it our obligation to provide security to all diplomatic missions and diplomats who come to Kabul. But again, I emphasize and stress the security that we have provided. We are extremely proud of it, and we will continue providing good security assurances.
India has other concerns as well, and those have obviously been voiced with you in formal and informal talks, whether it's the fear of terrorist groups being trained in Afghanistan. There are certain reports, the UN reports, which suggest that the LET, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed are still trained here. How are you addressing India's concerns about terrorism from Afghanistan's borders?
It's very sad that such reports continue to crop up in social media circles, and mainly in Western media circles. We have always insisted and always asked for evidence. We have not been presented with a single instance of documented evidence about foreign fighters, training camps, or training centers having presence in certain areas of Afghanistan. Now that the borders are under our control, we have repeatedly asked for such information to cross-check and make sure whether they're true or not. This is the sad state of affairs when it comes to foreign circles, malicious circles that are trying to create differences between Afghanistan and other countries. You're here in Kabul. You're moving around and have seen that we have a very responsible, accountable, independent government, and we will not allow anyone to use Afghanistan against any other country.
So if India provides any actionable intelligence, you will do something about that?
Of course, any party, any actor is allowed to share information with us if such activities are indeed taking place. We have made a commitment earlier in the Doha Agreement and moving forward that we will not allow the territory of Afghanistan to be used against any other country. We remain committed to this pledge that we have made. Also, we do not want Afghanistan to be the playground of international powers. We have a balanced foreign policy, which is economic-centric. We want to move forward with countries, and we will not allow anyone to use the territory of Afghanistan against others.
You say Afghanistan will be balanced and will not be part of this great game that different countries are playing. The Islamic Emirates again says it's completely independent from any external influence. Are you completely independent from any influence or control of anybody? I mean, why I'm saying this, Muttaqi Saab, is 43 years plus there have been conflict. The Russians came, you've beaten them. You go back further, the British, of course. The Russians, the Americans have gone. They have not been able to control Afghanistan. But the Islamic Emirate insists it's independent. Are you completely independent from any external influence, especially, say, from your neighboring countries?
देखिए हिच शक नसته چې افغانستان اوس
Afghanistan is a sovereign state and all its decisions are independent.
خپله پالیسي په خپله جوړوي او
God has created the people of Afghanistan with a mindset that they do not accept any foreign military forces, nor do they accept leaders in power.
قوت او غیرت ورکړی چې هغه نه
Who are under the influence of foreign powers. They're a proud and independent nation. Again, I'll repeat that the policy of the government of Afghanistan is balanced. It does not want to be a playground for great powers, and it is economic-centric.
متوازن سیاست یو اقتصاد محور سیاست په مخ وړي او نه غواړي چې افغانستان
Afghanistan wants to transform into the crossroads of connectivity for this entire region.
په سیمه کې د وصل په نقطه بدل شي او د افغانستان نه نورو هیوادو ته خیر ورسیږي، ترانزیت وده وکړي، اقتصاد وده وکړي. همدغه ښه ثبوت دی چې موږ اوس په سیمه کې له ګاونډیو هیوادو سره
The proof is our good, balanced relations with Pakistan, India, China, Iran, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkey, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and other Arab countries.
د سیمې هیوادو له قزاقستان او قرغیزستان او روسیې او ترکیې او سعودي او نور عربي هیوادو په دې ټوله سیمه کې موږ له هیچا سره ستونزه نه لرو. د دې برکت
We have maintained a balance when it comes to these relations.
یو متوازن سیاست غوره کړی ده.
The failed policies of former governments who were acting against each other have ended.
د بل په مقابله کې په مخالفت کې فعالیت کاوه، هغه سیاست او هغه کړنې نورې پای ته رسېدلې دي. اوس افغانستان یو خپلواک هېواد ده، خپلواکي حکومت ده، خپلواکي اراده ده او په ټول افغانستان مسلط ده الحمدلله. که چیرې اسلامي امارت د چا تر اثر لاندې راتلای.
If Afghanistan was ever a space where world powers aimed at establishing influences, it was in the last 20 years. 50 nations came here with a lot of military, economic, and other incentives for Afghanistan to come under their influence. But the fact of the matter is that Afghanistan is an independent, sovereign state and its people are freedom-loving people, independent. The new government has the support of the public as we have suffered a lot. That's why such a large power, such armed forces were defeated in an 11-day span. This just attests to the fact that this government is free from all kinds of influence.
Since you talked about the US and NATO, what stage are relations with the US currently? I mean, there are reports suggesting that talks are suspended, that the unfreezing of the Afghanistan bank funds are not happening. Is that true? What is the current position between the Islamic Emirate and the US?
We
have always maintained we seek positive diplomatic and economic relations with the US. A large part of the government and people of the US seek similar positive relations with the state of Afghanistan. However, there are some circles within the United States that have prejudices. They want to create a distance between us. But in our meetings, we have made a lot of progress. Our talks are continuing. Engagement is continuing, and we look forward to continuing that engagement.
او په راتلونکي کې هم امید لرو. تر اوسه پورې موږ د دې تر مابین خبرې نه دي بندې شوې او تماس سره لرو او وخت په وخت مجالس سره لرو. نو په راتلونکي کې به هم همدې ته دوام ورکوو.
Muttaqi Sahab, like you said, Afghanistan is neither a playground for any of the big powers or regional powers or anybody for that matter, and the Islamic Emirate is playing a balancing role, not favoring any country. But with Russia, your ties have been improving. Even currently, there was a delegation that was talking trade with them and possibly even how does it work in terms of barter. Tell us a little bit more about relations with Russia, because it's interesting if you go back in time when the Soviet Union was considered an invader here, but now you have relations with Russia.
Our relations with Russia are progressing normally. They have their diplomatic missions open. At the same time, our delegation has gone to the Moscow to talk about trade and business. And hopefully to reach agreements. Afghanistan is a country that imports a lot of commodities and has less exports. Discussions are continuing in Moscow, and we will work in a manner that is beneficial for Afghanistan, whether it's through barter or cash and financial transactions. What we are seeking is to bring in commodities to Afghanistan to fulfill the needs at a much lower cost than we are currently through importing those products.
Which is what exactly India is also doing the same in looking after its interests, economic interests. India had plans, say, in Hajikak, similar the Chinese had in Mesainak. Those didn't take off because of the security situation. Now, what is the relationship with the Chinese? And I know there are some agreements in the petroleum industry or mining industry. Are the Chinese moving faster than any other country in the region in Afghanistan?
Yes, that's correct. Afghanistan has had contracts with different countries, which include China. We had a project for a contract with China in the Mes Ainak copper mine fields in Logar. The initial stages of that contract, the initial phase was done after the Chinese side sent delegations. We now believe security is prevalent. This type of work needs to be expedited and sped up. We also had an old contract with China for a gas field, and we have also begun the initial phases. They have sent delegations. They're beginning the initial phase and the implementation phase as well. There are also small contracts, talks about other contracts with the Chinese side, but nothing has been finalized. Overall, our outlook is that we are hoping for all countries to come with trade and investment. To that end, we're looking for foreign actors who are willing to come, keeping in mind their own interests as well as the interests of Afghanistan.
Muttaqi Sahab, the people of India and Afghanistan have contacts no matter who is in power in either of the countries. I mean, that's a bond that cannot be broken, no matter it's food, whether it's culture. Of the last 10 years, it's been cricket and IPL. When I used to come here, even 5-6 years back, all Afghans knew Indian cricketers' names. Now, when I come to Afghanistan, all of India knows Afghanistan's cricketers' names. It's a beautiful bond that our two people have.
There is no doubt that the people of India and Afghanistan have had bonds and relations that predate a lot of other nations. especially in recent times when it comes to cricket.
په ډیرو برخو کې اړیکې لري.
These relations have improved. With the coming to power of the new Islamic Emirate government, cricket has been encouraged and it has improved dramatically.
ډېرې ښې لوبې وکړې، د نړۍ په سطح باندې ډېر ښه کردار ادا کو. نو همداسې له هندوستان
We look forward to Afghanistan cricket players going to India
باید نور نزدېکت راشي
and Indian players coming to Afghanistan.
کلاړیان لاړ شي هندوستان کې ولوبېږي او د هندوستان والا راشي کابل کې ولوبېږي.
And strengthening these relations, not just in cricket, in different areas where we share commonalities with India. We are looking to improve these bonds.
मुत्तकी साहब, मुझे पता है आप उर्दू मेरे से बेहतर बोलते हैं. अगर आपको कोई मैसेज देना हो उर्दू में.
افغانستان کا جو موجودہ حکومت ہے اس کا جو پالیسی ہے وہ متوازن اور اقتصاد محور پالیسی ہے، اور افغانستان یہ چاہتا ہے کہ آئندہ افغانستان اور قوتوں اور ممالک کے مقابلے کا میدان نہ ہو. افغانستان سب ممالک کے ساتھ اچھا روابط چاہتا ہے، اور امارت اسلامی افغانستان جو 20 سال امریکہ، ناٹو اور اس کے ساتھ 50 لگ بھگ اور ممالک تھے، اور یہاں پہ افغانستان میں بھی کے اندر بھی انہوں نے 4-5 لاکھ لوگ کو مسلح کر دیا. اس سب کے ساتھ انہوں نے جو لڑائی کیا وہ اس لیے کیا کہ افغانستان ایک آزاد اور خود مختار ملک بن جائے. الحمدللہ ابھی ویسے ہے. امارت اسلامی افغانستان جس کا قیادت اور سب جو کارکن ہے وہ سب آزاد لوگ ہیں. آپ نے ملک کے ساتھ اس کے قوی اور زیادہ محبت ہے، اور ہم نے جو وعدہ کیا ہے کہ افغان سرزمین کسی کے خلاف میں استعمال نہیں ہو سکتا ہے، ہم اسی وعدے پہ کڑا ہیں. اور ہمارا جو لوگ ہمارے یہ کمزور اردو پہ سمجھتا ہے، ہمارا سب کے لیے یہ پیغام ہے کہ وہ افغانستان کے حالات فیس بک کی نظر سے نہ دیکھے. افغانستان کے حالات یہ جو مغرض اور شرارت پسند لوگ ہیں جو مغرضانہ تبلیغات کر رہے ہیں، جو سوشل میڈیا میں ہے یا عام میڈیا میں ہے، خصوصاً غربی میڈیا میں، اس کی نظر سے افغانستان کو نہیں دیکھنا چاہیے. افغانستان جیسا آپ نے افغانستان نزدیک سے دیکھا، ادھر امن و امان آپ نے دیکھا، اور موجودہ حکومت کے پالیسی آپ نے دیکھا کہ ادھر سب ممالک کے جو لوگ آتا ہے سب کے اکرام ہوتا ہے، سب کے ساتھ اچھا روابط ہے ہمارا. اور 12 مہینے گزشتہ میں ہزاروں خارجی اتباع جو افغانستان میں بشری امداد کے لیے آیا ہے یا سفارتوں میں آیا ہے، ایک واقعہ بھی سارے افغانستان میں پیش نہیں آیا ہے کہ کسی کو کچھ تھوڑا یا زیادہ تکلیف پہنچائے. تو اس کا مطلب یہ ہے کہ موجودہ حکومت یہ سارے ہمسایہ پڑوسی ممالک اور علاقے کے جو ممالک ہے سب کے ساتھ اچھا روابط رکھتا ہے، چاہتا ہے، اور یہ ہمارا پالیسی ہے. اور ہم نے عمل میں یہ ثابت کیا ہے کہ 12 مہینے گزشتہ میں کسی ایک ملک کے لیے کسی چھوٹا سا ضرر بھی نہیں پہنچتا ہے. تو اسی پالیسی کے مد نظر سارے لوگ، سارے دنیا، سارے ممالک ہمارے ساتھ متقابل احترام کے بنیاد پر اچھا روابط رکھنا چاہیے، کیونکہ ہمارا پالیسی یہ ہے کہ سب کے ساتھ اچھا روابط. اور ہم یہ چاہتا ہے کہ افغانستان چونکہ سنٹرل ایشیا اور جنوبی ایشیا کے درمیان وصل کا ایک نقطہ ہے، ہم یہ چاہتا ہے کہ افغانستان اسی سارے ملکوں کے لیے خیر رسان ہو، اور افغانستان ایک ٹرانزٹ کی ایک اچھا راستہ، سستا راستہ اور ہر نگاہ سے مفید ثابت ہوتا ہے، اور ہم اس پر خوش ہے کہ ابھی جنوبی ایشیا کے اجناس، اموال اور وہ ازبکستان، سنٹرل ایشیا تک پہنچے. حتی ہندوستان کا بھی کچھ اجناس، کچھ تجارتی اموال وہ پاکستان کے راستے سے، افغانستان سے گزر کر اور ازبکستان تک پہنچ گیا. یہ میرے خیال میں علاقے کے لیے، علاقے کے اقتصاد کے لیے ایک بہت اچھا چانس ہے کہ 40 سال سے بعد افغانستان میں ایک مرکزی حکومت آیا، اور یہ حکومت ایسا حکومت کہ سارے افغانستان پر مسلط ہے. اور اسی 12 گزشتہ مہینوں میں ہمارے مخالفین جو دشمنی کا ارادہ رکھتا تھا سب زور لگائے، لیکن سارے افغانستان میں ایک فٹ پر بھی کسی کو تسلط حاصل نہیں بغیر مرکزی حکومت اور اسلامی امارت. اور جتنا ٹرانزٹ جاتا ہے مرکزی سنٹرل ایشیا اور جنوبی ایشیا کے درمیان، سینکڑوں گاڑی جا رہا ہے، آ رہا ہے، کسی کو کوئی تکلیف نہیں پہنچا. جتنا بیرونی اتباع افغانستان میں آیا ہے سب امن و امان کے ساتھ یہاں پہ کام بھی کر سکتا ہے، زندگی بھی کر سکتا ہے. کیونکہ ہم یہ چاہتا ہے کہ اس سے بعد افغان بیچارہ لوگ، مظلوم لوگ جو یہ 40 سال میں ایک بار سوویت یونین اور شوروی اتحاد کے ساتھ مشکلات میں دچار تھا، پھر نیٹو اور امریکہ نے یہاں پہ یرغل کیا، یہاں پہ تجاوز کیا، اس کے ساتھ اس لوگ کو تقریباً اسی 40 سال میں 20 لاکھ شہید دیا ہے، 20 لاکھ، اور لاکھوں لوگ زخمی ہوا ہے، بیوہ ہوا ہے، یتیم ہوا ہے، اور ہمارے 10 ملین لوگ مہاجر ہوا ہے، بیرون ملک گیا ہے. تو اس سے بعد افغانستان کا یہ لوگ ہے کہ علاقے کے ممالک بھی اس کے ساتھ ہمدردی کرے، اور جو موجودہ حکومت ہے وہ بھی زیادہ کوشش کرے کہ افغانستان اس سے بعد جنگ کے میدان نہ بن جائے. ہم امریکہ اور غرب میں بھی یہ پیغام دیا ہے کہ آپ نے جو فارمولے تھے، جو کچھ تجربے تھے، آپ نے سب کے سب میں ناکام ہوا ہے. جتنا بھی آپ نے پشار کے آپشنیں استعمال کیے، کوئی فائدہ نہیں دیا. سارے دنیا اس سے عاجز تھے کہ افغانستان میں امن آ جائے. ابھی امن و امان ہے. سارے دنیا کے ساتھ یہ طاقت نہیں تھا کہ افغانستان میں داعش کو کنٹرول کرے. موجودہ حکومت انہوں نے کنٹرول کیا. موجودہ حکومت 40 سال میں پہلا حکومت ہے کہ آپ نے سب مخالفین کو آپ اعلان کیا. ابھی ہمارے مخالفین بھی ادھر زندگی کر سکتا ہے. حتی حکومت میں ہے تقریباً 5 لاکھ لوگ جو سابق حکومت میں تھے وہ ابھی ہمارے ساتھ کام کرتا ہے. مطلب میرا اس وضاحت سے یہ ہے کہ یہ ایک چانس ہے، ایک بہترین فرصت ہے، اور سارے لوگ خصوصاً ہندوستان کے لوگ اس کو یہ چاہتا ہے، وہ یہ ہونا چاہیے کہ وہ افغانستان کے حالات آپ کے آنکھوں سے دیکھے اور میڈیا سے نہ دیکھے، ہمارے دشمنوں کے منہ سے نہ سنے. تو یہ ہمارا پیغام تھا. خدا کرے کہ سب لوگوں تک پہنچ جائے.
متقی صاحب، آپ نے یہ انٹرویو پورا ہی اردو میں کرنا تھا.
میرے خیال میں اردو اتنا اچھا نہیں تھا.
کیا بات کر رہے ہیں آپ؟ متقی صاحب، تشکر، منانا. تھینک یو سو مچ فار یور ٹائم.
منانا، شکران.
And for all our viewers, do give us feedback on this interview and all the other interviews and the coverage that we are giving you from Kabul in Afghanistan. This is Amitabh Revi for StratNewsGlobal in Kabul with Rohit Pandita.
For the latest in strategic affairs, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon for updates.
This is StratNewsGlobal. I'm Amitabh Revi in Kabul. And we have with us today Zabiullah Mujahid. He's a spokesperson of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. Mujahid Sahab, thank you so much for giving us time. My first question would be on 1 year plus of the Taliban in power in Kabul. What are the challenges that you have faced so far?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Salam to you and your viewers.
سلامونه واحترامات وړاندې کوم.
Thank you. The Islamic Emirate took over in August 2021. You're well aware that when a new government is built, there are some challenges and obstacles. We have tried our best to ensure security in Afghanistan and fight corruption. Particularly, we worked on land grab issues and just secured the government, all land which was grabbed during the previous government. We're also working on economic infrastructure projects, especially in extraction from mines and other development projects. We're trying hard in areas, in sectors, to provide services to the people and do fundamental activities. One of the major things is economic issues, which we are trying to tackle in order to provide good living conditions for the people of Afghanistan.
India is a very important player in this region. India and Afghanistan have had ties for civilization ties. India had moved its diplomats out, but in June, we got our team back. Step by step, there have been talks with the Taliban as well. Why would the Islamic Emirate require India's presence in Afghanistan? Why is it so important?
Well, the Islamic Emirate has a balanced policy. It's obvious that Afghanistan and India have had commercial and diplomatic ties for years. On the other hand, we need economic cooperation from countries of the region and the world. The policy of the Islamic Emirate is to build relations based on mutual respect and mutual cooperation. We're actually prioritizing our neighboring countries, building our relations, especially in the areas of economic development and implementing regional projects like TAPI, other issues, especially in the export of fruit and in other sections as well. We are looking for normal diplomatic commercial relations with countries of the region and the world.
او ښه پرمختګ هم کړی او د اعتماد وړ پرمختګ هم کړی. داسې د هندوستان هېواد بېرته خپل سفارتخانې ته راوګرځېد. دا مثبت ګام ده او موږ کوشش کوو چې دوی لا هم مطمئن سي او لا هم ډاډه سي او ښه روابط سره بېرته احیا کړو.
India had a lot of projects in Afghanistan pre-15th August 2021, over $3.1 billion, but all of it was in development, so that local people would help. And that's always been India's policy, that the Afghan people should benefit the most. Is there anything specific that you would like from India? Do you want us to restart the projects that we were working on, to build on them more?
Of course, India has played a vital role in Afghanistan, especially in the economic sector. We're interested to let or provide opportunities for the Indian government to invest in Afghanistan, to restart incomplete projects, to complete incomplete projects, and to expand relations, especially in the economic sector. We're also in the process of maintaining their security. We'll provide all the facilities to our Indian partners, and we are urging them to come and study and work in Afghanistan.
What has been the Indian government's response?
The response is positive. The good thing is that they have reopened their diplomatic offices in Afghanistan. We are in the process of providing all facilities for them to come to Afghanistan.
Again, as you mentioned, you have, and I think from the top level of the Islamic Emirate, there are assurances of security for Indian diplomats, anybody who comes here. India has a lot of concerns apart from that as well, about terrorism, about groups that operate from here. There are reports about Pakistan control groups like Lashkar or Jaish-e-Mohammed or Harkat ul-Mujahideen, which have attacked India before. I know the Islamic Emirate has officially, from the top level, said that Afghanistan will not be allowed to be used against any third country. But what assurances have you given India that terrorism against India will not emanate from Afghanistan?
We give a 100% guarantee to the Indian government. It's our policy that Afghanistan's soil will not be used against any other country. Now, we are in the process of maintaining the security situation, and it is getting better. We have control over the entire country, especially in terms of security. So, security is maintained, and there will not be any threat towards anyone. We give that guarantee to the government of India.
What is the Islamic Emirate and the Taliban's relationship with Pakistan? Because there is a lot of reporting about how Pakistan supported the movement for 20 years. Are you completely independent? Because that's what the Islamic Emirate says. We want to be independent of anybody. I mean, first it was the British, then the Soviets, then the Americans. You fought wars against all of them and defeated them. But are you independent completely from Pakistan?
We build and maintain our relations based on principles of cooperation and mutual respect. As far as Pakistan is concerned, we have neighboring relations with Pakistan. They provide opportunities for Afghans as refugees. Millions of Afghans are living there. They provide employment opportunities for them, living opportunities for them. We have a direct border with Pakistan. The main point is that we are in the process of building relations based on our principles. We're not under the control of anyone. We're not at all taking orders from anyone. So it is an independent government, and we're trying to build our relations based on mutual respect and mutual cooperation.
In terms of mutual respect and mutual cooperation, what is the current relationship with the United States? I mean, there have been talks going on in third countries, whether in Doha or in the Tashkent conference as well, where officials were present. The CIA chief came to Kabul, that's a different story. But currently, because of recent developments, there was talk that the Americans would stop talks with you, that they are not letting the money that is frozen in the Afghanistan bank come back. What is the current position with the United States and the Islamic Emirate?
We are interested in rebuilding relations with America. We are working hard to open a new chapter of relations with the United States of America. However, there are issues agreed in the Doha Agreement like frozen assets. We are still trying to make relations with the US normal, for them to unfreeze the frozen assets of Afghanistan, open a new chapter of cooperation with the people of Afghanistan. We also intend not to allow specifically any country to interfere in our internal issues. These are the things we are interested in, so we can reopen our relations.
Amitabh, again, like you said, you don't want anybody interfering in your relations. You are independent of any outside power. And you said you were willing to cooperate with anybody, but especially in the neighboring countries and India. But you would be aware that there are people groups, maybe countries who try and sabotage relationships. When India was sending its first delegation to reopen the diplomatic mission here, the flight was already in the air when the attack took place on the Kartaparwan Gurdwara. The flight turned around. But within 2 days, of course, the team came back But my question is, there are people and groups who are wanting to sabotage this relationship. So how will you deal with that?
Of course, there are groups having the intention to sabotage our relationships with other countries. Like the day India wanted to reopen the Indian embassy, they attacked the Kabul Gurdwara. There have been some other incidents in Tajikistan and Uzbekistan and other countries as well. We took serious action against those involved. We also have arrested a number of people, and the investigation is going on to find out who is behind such attacks. So we do not allow those groups to achieve their goal. We call on some countries not to be affected by these evil actions, and the countries should build their relations based on specific strategies. These small incidents will not affect the relationship of the Islamic Emirate with other countries.
In terms of the economy, again, so many things. You're just coming out of at least 43 years of conflict. And I'm not just counting the last 20. There have been natural disasters, there have been floods, there have been earthquakes. The international community has frozen the money that has been held, whether in US or in other places. How is the Islamic Emirate dealing with that issue of revenue, of money, to deal with the problems of the people of Afghanistan?
Economic problems in our country have different factors, like the long-lasting war, the destruction of infrastructure of our country, the coronavirus which affected the economy, and drought. These are the factors, and the US freezing our assets. Now, the war has ended in Afghanistan. The money which used to be spent in war, we are now trying to use it for the development of the country. We are trying to rebuild our country with that money. We're also trying hard to build the grounds for investment in Afghanistan, for mining, extraction, and to provide economic opportunities for the people, so we can reduce the rate of unemployment. In just 1 year, we have already identified all this, and we are trying to provide all facilities required in order to rebuild our economy.
There are about, I think, 16 diplomatic missions or representations in Kabul. You might have 5 or 6, I think, in countries outside, but diplomatic credentials haven't been presented. Nobody in the international community as yet recognizes you. They say you're a de facto government. What is the Islamic Emirate doing to gain recognition from the rest of the international community?
Recognition has two parts. One is cooperation, and the other is an announcement in terms of recognition. We are in contact with countries of the region and the world. The foreign minister travels abroad for that. He's trying his best on behalf of the government to build trade. Coming to the announcement part, we are looking forward to the countries of the world announcing recognition. They should not bring up small things in order to create barriers towards the recognition of the Islamic Emirate. We have fulfilled all the requirements to be recognized by the countries of the region and the world. So we are looking forward for them to recognize the country, build their relations, and start cooperation.
You mentioned Foreign Minister Muttaqi, who has been among many other leaders traveling to various countries, but in the UN there is still about the travel ban. You say the war is over, but games over Afghanistan continue. Countries are still playing power games. In the United Nations, if you see about the travel ban, the US and some other countries will be on one side, Russia and China on another side. your views on other powers and other countries still playing games vis-a-vis Afghanistan. They used to call it the Great Game 1, 2, 3, 4.
Of course, during the war, some countries may have been creating problems for the Islamic Emirate. Sanctions were imposed on us, and there was a lot of pressure from the US, the UN, and others. This is not in favor of anyone. We always proposed a dialogue instead of being involved in war because war is not a solution. The only way to find a solution is dialogue with countries. It is in the Islamic Emirates' interest to build normal relations with countries. But in return, we also need them to help normalize relations with Islamic Emirate as well. We call on America, Europe, and others to reduce their pressure on the Islamic Emirates and start opening a new chapter of cooperation and relations with this new government.
او هغه فشارونه چې مالي هغه نور بس کی د تعامل او د تفاهم لار مفیدم ده او موثرم ده ان شاء الله.
You mentioned one of the opportunities that you see in Afghanistan to develop the economy is through mining. And for decades now, we've talked about the riches underneath the ground that are possibly there, which have not been able to be exploited because of the war and the conflict. We believe that China had a mine in Mesa-Inak, which again, because of the situation, was not functioning. India had a consortium of companies that were working in Hajikak for iron ore and other things. We believe China is moving fast on developing mining, petroleum. There was a MOU as well, I think, with the Petroleum Ministry. Can you tell us a little bit more about relations with China?
We wish other countries to invest freely, especially in the mining sector. It's a great asset for us. It's obvious that for economic development, there should be no war and very good opportunities should be provided in terms of investment. The door is open for everybody. We're not prioritizing countries based on the relations with Islamic Emirate. China's MCC had already invested in different fields and recently signed the Kashgar Agreement. The negotiation is going on regarding the Mesa-Inak copper mine. All doors are open for everybody. The security of all investors and investment companies are ensured in Afghanistan. The ground is prepared for them. We're looking forward to investment opportunities and we will be providing all facilities for them to fulfill their goals.
So does that also mean China has CPEC, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or the BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative? Would that mean you will also consider what China calls the CPEC, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or the larger picture, which is the BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative? Would you consider extending that? And the reason I'm asking is because many countries around the world have seen how China invests and actually puts countries into debt because of the infrastructure projects. We've seen it in Sri Lanka, in Maldives, in Africa. Is that part of your thinking on how do you see CPEC and BRI?
We will consider any investment made in Afghanistan that is in the national interest of our country. That's the priority for us. We also have an economic commission whose members are experts and professionals in the field. They review all aspects. For us, our national interest is very, very important. If there are some cases that will not be in the favor of Afghanistan, we will be reconsidering those. Coming to CPEC projects, those are still under evaluation. We are seeing if it is beneficial for the people of Afghanistan, then we will definitely continue the projects. If not, we will be deciding against it.
ټولې برخې بعد له تحقیق معلومیږي چې موږ څېړنه پکې کوو. سپیک موضوع زموږ تر څېړنې لاندې ده په دې برخه کې بیا کله وړاندیز کیږي موږ تحقیق هم پکې کولی شو د افغانستان ګټې موږ ته ډېرې مهمې دي په هغو رڼا کې به موږ په مخ ځو.
Mujahid Sahab, again, like I'm saying, the difference I see in Kabul from when I came earlier is visible on the streets in terms of its security, much easier to move around. I don't have evidence, but it seems like corruption has been killed as well. But another big difference that I see is that girl children are not allowed to go to school post 6th class. What is the situation within the Islamic Emirate? Are you still debating it? Are there two sides? Could you explain to us? I know you've done it many times before as well, but what is the situation now in terms of your decision?
Of course, we are in the process of resolving this issue. We are in touch with different groups. We are also collecting their views, their comments, and soon we will make decision.
And is it the same with women's rights and minorities, protection of their rights as well?
Women rights and minority rights are a priority for us. We are in the process of resolving these issues. For example, women government employees are still receiving their salary. However, they're not working, but they're receiving their salaries at home. The leadership is working hard. It will come to a conclusion.
You said you have fulfilled all the agreement, all the clauses in the Doha agreement. But terrorism is an issue, and we know the recent incident that took place where America says they've killed Ayman al-Zawahiri. The international community is now saying, how do we believe you when you say that no, there will be no terrorist groups in Afghanistan?
Of course, we have acted based on the agreement from our side and fulfilled all the requirements. They have violated the agreement many times, and the US is still violating it. We warn them that the consequences of their violations are not good for anyone. We hope they understand this. So, we urge them to implement the agreement as we do.
I started this conversation talking about India, which I will end it with that as well. The connect that the Indian and the Afghan people, it is our responsibility as governments, as journalists, as anybody who can bring these two people, they're already together, but keep them together and take that relationship up. Food, culture, music, sport, IPL, cricket, there is so much in common. That is our responsibility. I think the Islamic Emirate agrees with that.
We appreciate the role of journalists, especially the international media, in recalibrating the relationship between the two countries. The role of journalists in conveying messages between the two nations is very important. We want to have relations with all, including India. Commercial and diplomatic ties of all manner with all countries. The role of media is significant and crucial for this part.
Zabihullah Mujahid, we had been interacting with you on Signal, on WhatsApp, on Telegram. Thank you for your time in person in Kabul. Manana. And to our viewers, do give us any feedback you'd like about this particular interview and all our other reports from Kabul. This is Amitabh Revi in Afghanistan with Rohit Pandita for Strat News.
For the latest in strategic affairs, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon for updates.
This is StratNewsGlobal. I'm Amitabh Revi in Kabul. We have with us Palvok Sapai. He's the director of Tolo News. Mr. Sapai, thank you so much for giving us time.
Thank you for coming to Tolo News.
Sapai Sahab, even behind us right now, Tolo News is alive. Currently, What are the difficulties you face? What are the restrictions that you have to comply with?
The situation, of course, has been changed a lot than it was before 15, I guess, 2021. I mean, but we have to manage that because we think and we believe that we have to inform the public on all the incidents happening in the country, in all newsworthy things, and for that, it was, of course, not easy for us from two sides, like to manage the things. First, some new rules and regulation has been passed, which is meaning some new restriction on media. Let me call like this: we are face cover issues and the things mostly calling that not to be anything against Islam or against national values, or not to defame people, or not to report not to be based on allegation. All these things sound very nice apparently, but to modify it with details, the problem starting is very, very difficult. No, it's two general theorems, and I mean it can be anything. You can drag to any direction, and so that is the problem. I mean, the absence of a modified media law, which is very essential. If you're looking to have free media, then you have to provide law for that. At the time being, we don't have any media law in the country, and that is the big problem for us. Second, access to information is very limited, and even media is not allowed to cover the incident like bomb explosions or protests in the cities or killings and things like that. Media is restricted from access to information like that. So all these things making the situation very difficult for us to go ahead with that. But anyway, today's world is much different than it past. No, you have a digital media. You have smartphone in your pocket, and you can catch anything newsworthy. We are getting those information from our audience, from those who are looking to run the stories and things like that.
So, Paisab, like you said, so much has changed in over a year. Afghanistan's media was the most vibrant, I would say, in this region, even in comparison to a large neighbor like India.
Yeah.
That change, how have you, your organization, presenters, reporters been able to deal with it?
At the very beginning, it was a really very difficult, unique experience for me in my life. We lost more than 90% of our staff, our human resources at the very beginning, and within 10 to 15 days. All those were evacuated. I mean, all presenters, all producers, all reporters, and from the management level, I stood alone here. And I have had to keep the screen on. It was it turned to a matter of honor for me, and a matter of prestige for me and for the company. And so we were trying. I was for around 45 days. I was just concentrated on my channel, my work, without any weekend, unrest. And permanently, I was just sometime was very quickly go to home and came back and was. We recruited new staff, new people. And we have had to train at the same time them just to working, and But we, fortunately, we succeeded and we kept the channel, and it didn't turn to dark. It was like some hard work when I'm thinking of that. It's very difficult for me myself to believe that I could manage things like that, but fortunately we did. And it's hard still. We are losing people. Many of my colleagues are still looking to leave the country. They're worried. It's like personal issues. They're making their decisions, and we cannot stop them, and we will not stop them because it's the decision for them. They're no better regarding their future and their life.
Sapai, I remember, and the whole world remembers, those initial pictures soon after the Taliban seized power again, when the first broadcast was made and the Taliban leader called you up, I think, and walked in the studio.
That was, that was the second day.
A woman
the
presented
Taliban, the Taliban got to the city. And I mean, the first day it's like 15 August, because the Taliban get in the city midnight, actually, practically. And that day, early in the morning, I learned that we do not have any presenter in the channel just to run the show, the live show. And you know, we are a news channel, and we are starting with live and ending daily broadcasting with live shows. And so I hadn't presented that day. And so I was very worried of that. I started in the morning, I started broadcasting of the material of the yesterday, the day before. And then I called that woman presenter, her name was Binafsha Arghan. And she agreed, and I sent the vehicle to her, and she came to the office. And as we started live broadcasting, I've got a call from a Talib who was interested to come and to take part in the show and to address the public, the people.
Maulvi Hamad?
He came to the studio, and Hamad, and this was like the first ever live show of in Afghanistan. I mean, the live show maybe in the world of a Talib with a female presenter on the screen. So it was a good experience, and just within an hour, it turned to a big news in the worldwide, and still it's very famous. And foreign media outlets mostly are looking for that, footage, and the story was like that. But that time, the Taliban were not really strict to take part in shows like that, with no mask, no things. For some months, we were like that. They were happy, no critics, no problem. But later on, things changed, and we got another from the Ministry of Vice and Virtue, and they were seriously asking the female presenter to cover the faces. It was also a unique experience of my life, which made me very depressed and unhappy.
That itself, what you're talking about, the changes that the Ministry of Vice and Virtue imposed, especially on women presenters to wear a mask. Again, there was a campaign that came online on social media for women presenters because they had to wear masks, and your male presenters or reporters. And it wasn't just Afghanistan, Sapai Saab. In India, in other places, all over the social media, males were putting on masks in support of
Afghan women journalists. That was that morning. A day ahead, it was my weekend. I was at home, and it was like a brief breakfast at time. My kids, my wife, we were sitting to have our breakfast, and I got a call from the spokesperson for the Ministry of Vice and Virtue, and he treated me, to be honest, and asked that I had to stop the appearance of women presenters without mask in the channel. If I do not stop, then it will have like very harsh consequences. It's just things that the result will be not good for me. So I was told that there isn't any other choice except to remove the female presenter from the screen, or they to wear the mask. So this two option was it was forcefully, and so the next morning I came to the office. I was just thinking of that. And that morning, there was a media team from AP. I mean, like AP people were here. They were doing a report, and we were looking to start from our morning meeting. We have every day in the morning we have like a morning meeting for the daily agenda. We're assigning reporters to their stories. And when I saw them, I was like, in my mind, I was just concentrating on this issue, the mask covering issue, and I was not convinced to accept things like that. So I asked them suddenly. It was like very suddenly, and I asked them just to stop for a while, and they were wondering why they should be stopped, but they stopped. And I asked my colleagues to look for black masks if they have here in the office somewhere. But my colleagues just run and they look for that. And within 5 minutes, they came back with around 13 black masks. I have kept of that one in my desk just as like a
reminder.
Yeah. And we... I put it on the table and told my male colleagues, that it's anyone looked at it's voluntarily, not forcefully. I took one in New York and I told them that if you want, as like solidarity with our family presenter, if you want. So all they covered their faces, and then I put a hashtag on Twitter that Free Her Face Afghan Woman, which, as you mentioned, which turned a big news around the world and got a lot of support. And the story was like that.
So what you're saying, Sapai Sahib, is that even now your women presenters have a choice.
The choice has, for them, they have choice. The decision was made at the end by themselves.
Yeah.
We of course, we shared the order from the Ministry of Education to them, every one of them. And then at the beginning, there was like we had a 2-3 session on that among the management of movie. I mean, I proposed at the very beginning that let's to shut down the channel. This was my own, but I was alone. My proposal didn't get any support. The others came with a little bit different logic. They were saying, why like the men should take decision for women, leave the decision to them. The logic was strong, you know. And we told our women journalists colleagues that if they are not ready to come to mask the screen, then we will provide them another engagement or job behind the screen, and their job will be secure, and their salary income will be secure, anything. But if they want to come to the screen, then they have to wear the mask. It's like something forced, not by choice. So they have had a big meeting among themselves, and finally they decided that they will prefer to keep their voice on the screen. rather to leave the screen. So they wear the mask, and the story was like that.
And as you said, things have changed since 15th of August. Initially, there seemed to be some kind of light at the end of the tunnel. It seemed to have gone downhill in terms of restrictions or limits.
It's very difficult to...
How do you see the future?
The future is difficult. It's for me. Now, not only for me, it's for nearly for anyone. It's very difficult to estimate or to predict what will happen tomorrow, what will happen months later or a year later. But I hope the things to get better, because without having free media in today's world doesn't mean... It's very important for the government, for the take care government as well. It's like a matter of prestige for the whole country, and it gives credit to the take care government. I know many of officials who are seriously supporting free media, but there are problems as well, some existing, and some of, especially the low and mid-level of Taliban fighters, they're still looking to us like we are a stranger for them, or many of them that think that they've conquered the whole country and they're defeated America. So the free media as well doesn't mean so they are looking like it to be their property, which is not working. And so I hope that things to get better, but it will take time, not soon, I think.
Sapai Sahab, thank you so much for your time. More strength to you, your team at Tolo, to all Afghan journalists, and to all Afghans.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
The pleasure was all ours. And to our viewers, do share your feedback about what you think about this interview and all our other coverage in Afghanistan. For StratNewsGlobal, this is Amitabh Revi with Rohit Pandita.
For the latest in strategic affairs, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon for updates.
This is StratNewsGlobal in Afghanistan. I'm Amitabh Revi, and our guest today is Zahra Nabi. She's a journalist. Zahra, first of all, thank you for giving us your time, and more importantly, for being so brave to come and speak to us on camera.
Thank you so much, and thanks. I really appreciate it that you gave your time to me and you came in Afghanistan. And for me, I think you're brave that you put your life at risk and came in Afghanistan.
No, we've been waiting to come to Afghanistan for a long time. But this is about you. And I wanted our viewers to know a little bit about how you have been operating as a journalist in the last year that the Taliban have re-seized power.
Since 15 August 2021, when the Taliban came in power, day by day, I'm losing all the opportunity as a journalist, being as a journalist in this country. As first, when the Taliban came in power, I shut down my own station that I really worked hard to have it. And then slowly, I was the first and only Afghan female journalist that I attended to the first press conference of Zabihullah Mujahid. And then there I asked him about the rights of women journalists in Afghanistan, and he said that you should wait. And later on the same. And slowly, I was 2-3 times I was not allowed to attend to press conferences. And when the hijab rule program was running, so I really so hard I could attend to that program. And I was on behalf of some news agency. So I covered this. And later on, I also am working as a free journalist with some news agencies and also with some other NGOs to make some success stories for them or take some photos or interviews or making some profile. But the problem, even I thought that, okay, if in press conferences the Taliban is not allowing me to attend, but also even in the NGOs, I recently, at least 3 months, since 3 months, that the Taliban being hired on that NGOs as a line manager or something like this, or they're related to the Taliban. And then they are like dealing with me like I feel sometimes that maybe I killed their fathers or their relatives and I don't know. And then they stop me working even in the NGOs, because in some NGOs, it is not, it's international NGOs. Yeah. I'm working, I used to work with them, but the Taliban, when they became hired on that NGOs, then they stopped me working and said, no, I don't like, you're not, work is not so professional. It's not professional, but international. The other foreigners, they said that it's the best. The photos that they are taking, the interviews that they are doing, and then said, no, I don't like it. And then they stopped, no, I don't want, I stop your contract. It's not working. And then they hired some men instead of me. And some days before, when I wanted to attend to press conference, so the Taliban, I could say that I really just one of my eye was open. All my face was covered because I wanted to, follow their rule. Otherwise, they will stop me to do the press conference, and then I could, lose the job. Really, for that news agency, I waited 1 month. After 1 month, I got that half day. They hired me, and I was very happy at least half day. I attended there. I went there, and then on the back of the auditorium that they had their program, they stopped me and they said, "No, you're not allowed." And then I said that, okay, I'm going back home. No, you're not allowed to go back home. Why? You should wait here till the program will finish and go together with everyone. I say, oh my God, the program will take too much time, 5-6 hours. And I said, you have no way. I waited there. Really, I wasted my time. It was really hot. It was so sunny day that day. And I waited there and I couldn't say anything. And at the end, I just left the area. The agency didn't pay me. I wasted my time. And at the end, next time they didn't give me a call. And next time when I attend to another press conference, I saw there is a man they hired instead of me and gave them the opportunity. So by this, women are really, I just say I'm an example. Yeah. The woman has zero opportunity to work. Zero opportunity to work in NGOs, in TV stations, in medias, nowhere. They're saying women not necessary to work. But for me, in my home, we don't have any man. We all women. So what should we do? Then they're saying you should marry with us. Oh my God. I should marry with the Taliban to feed myself? No, it's rather to die for hunger, to become a wife of a Taliban guy. It's unfair, really unfair. But I don't know what should we do.
But tell us how your professional experiences. You mentioned that you had started the first channel that was an all-woman channel, Bano, I think.
Yeah, yes.
And you can direct, you can, I presume, anchor journalism, marketing, the whole gamut. You and all those women could do. So professionally, you are extremely capable, right? Tell us a little bit more about Bano.
Actually, I used to work with the media of Afghanistan. It has been 10 years. Mm-hmm. I worked with some different channels, and some of them was really popular channels. And then, but on the first days, even in Afghanistan, it's always the dealing with the woman are always unfair. If it's democracy or if it's the Talibanism, everything. So always they're thinking, they're seeing the woman as a second, like someone that is not, we are saying something in our language, but I don't know how to express it. But it's like you're something that
second rate.
Second things, these things. You're not a human. You're always should be related to some man to have your identity. Otherwise, no one will know you. So I saw lots of unfair things, and I thought that we should have an TV station, a media station, radio and TV, in magazine, all these things operating by women, and it's all women. So it shouldn't be unfair, because I was the only, even 7 years in a very popular media station I was the only female manager among 20 other men, and they were always dealing like I was always success, and then the owner of the station was always, supporting me and telling me, encouraging me, and everyone was like very jealous with me and saying that why she's success and these things. And I really faced a lot of, unfair things they did. And I really looked for a station that should be for women. So all should be women. And then, believe me, I can share with you why this idea came for me. I became a journalist in a media station, and the cameraman came with me outside to take some reports. I was a reporter. And then when I asked the cameraman to take these shots or do this, he said, no, you don't know. You know or no, I know. My God, please do the shots that I needed. And no one was following my, rules, these things. That's why I thought that it should be better to have everyone females, should be women. And then later on 2000, but when I shared my ideas, everyone was laughing. How it's possible? Women cannot operate the cameras. Women cannot do direction, these things. I said, we can do it because they're human also. They can learn. And no, it's impossible. But in 2017, finally, we could reach our dreams. But it was also unfair sometimes because I really shared my idea with someone and they stole my idea and they changed their station's names for women and these things. But finally, we approach our dreams. And we had our opening ceremony on the same auditorium that the Taliban, they had their victory ceremony on 15 August. We finally trained 100 women internship, and then they became a journalist. The women that they never had experience working with the media. All those ones that they were really talented and they really liked to be in the media, but they never had that opportunity. Without helping that time, we had USAID projects, we had lots of projects for women. No one paid a penny for us, but we tried our best when we finally approached. And it was a day I was very happy. That day I said that, now our dream came in true, because we had a political show. Our host was also, the guest was also females, women, and the anchor was also woman, director, the camera woman, everyone. And they said, see, without men, we can do it. Of course, no one say. And there is no violence, nothing. But 2 days before the Taliban came in power, we received a call and they gave us, treated us that, why you are running this drama? Because our station was entertainment station. And then they gave us something that some country is paying you to change our culture and these things. And I knew that the Taliban are on the gate of our, city. That's why we said that let's stop the dramas, running the music, running blah, blah, all these things. And when the Taliban came in power, 15 August, we said that, they came in power. Just, we have nothing now to broadcast it. We cannot broadcast music, we cannot broadcast drama, we cannot broadcast even the news. The news should say that, we are very happy that Taliban came in power and don't allow us to work. I cannot broadcast some fake news. That's why we stopped it. And we hoped that it will be changed, but nothing changed. I paid, believe me, 6 months from my pocket, even I was jobless. I kept that studio for 6 months. And I said, I won't destroy this city. Even my colleagues, they evacuated from country and they left. I was alone. And every day I used to just open and just see and say, no, I hope that 6 months something will happen. And at the end said, my pocket is getting empty and nothing is going to be changed. And then I said, let's stop it. And then I stopped. I store all the equipment, and then I changed the studio, all the things, and I hand over it back to the owner of the apartment. And even as a freelance, I cannot work. As a freelance, but I won't stop. I will keep working. Sometimes really no one is hiring me, but I still keep continuing to to cover some stories or make some news, these things. But when I'm making the reports, then I have nowhere to broadcast it. Then my colleagues, they're outside, they're saying, you're wasting your time, you're paying from your pocket. And then what are you doing with the reports that you cannot broadcast it? I have lots of, reports that nowhere I could broadcast it. And I said, I will archive it. And one day, of course, we will show it somewhere. We can do it something. At least my mom is 85. She's, sometimes she's telling me the stories that with the time that she was like my age, what happened to the country. It was very tough times. All his brothers were buried alive and these things, very tough times to family around her happened. And I said, but she doesn't have any photos, these things. But I'm telling my colleagues that I have at least, footage that I will show them that once upon a time to my grandchildren that this happened in my country. At least, but I don't think that it will be wasting time or wasting.
Like you said, many of your colleagues or most of your colleagues have left.
Yeah.
They're not allowing you to work in what you are absolutely professional at, and you've proven it already. Why not leave? And aren't you scared for your safety or your family's safety?
Yeah, of course. I always have fear. My fears is too much. Especially it has been, I was attended to it was a bomb blast attacker in the Indian temple.
Yeah.
I went there and I said, from early in the morning, no one was allowed to enter to that temple. And then I made something. Then I said, I showed myself because I know Urdu and also I know English. So I started only speaking Urdu and English, not Dari. And then the Indians, they helped me to enter to that temple. I was the only one that I entered, but I took also some Afghans with me because I was alone and it was late night. Afraid that be alone. The Taliban thought that I am a foreigner. Mm-hmm. And then the Indian inside, they helped me really because I was speaking Urdu. Then they helped me, yeah, we'll let you go in. So I finally could enter, but because I was afraid that going alone maybe make problem, so I took 3 Afghans with me. We entered, and when we passed everywhere and took films, videos, these things, and then they said, let's go to the basement. The basement was an area that we should enter and see. I was the last one filming, and everyone was walking. And then someone suddenly shouted that an attacker still is here, run. Then everyone started running, and at that time I was very afraid, scared, and was just taking care that because the other journalists fallen down, their camera, broke, these things. We ran away, and then in the yard of the temple, then I forgot that I shouldn't speak Dari, I made a mistake, and there was one Talib. I just told him, you are making mistake. There is no attacker from early morning till now. I said these things in Dari, I said, you guys, please, it is wrong, And the guy was shocked. He said, you are Afghan? Oh my God. He said, Dari and all from morning till now, you just, play with us. And this is, oh my God, I should. Then I stopped myself. Then I told the Afghans, by English that please. Then he was complaining, saying, you're lying, you're a spy, or this. And I said, please leave the area because it's now danger. And we left the area. But when we go out from the street, he asked other guys. All the Taliban surrounded me, around 20, 50. I don't know how much they were. And I just slowly, so fast, I put everything in my bag. And then the guy asked me that she's lying. He said too much things on me. Then the guy asked me that, who are you? And I said, yes, I know lots of languages. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't speak this. But I said, and the guy said, no, you should show us. Then I showed my identity card because I'm a journalist. I have a card, ID card. So he saw the ID card. He said, no. He said, the guy that you're wrong. She's really a journalist. Her picture, her name, everything is here. And I said, thank you. I put the ID card in my bag, and I would just pass from one street, and I just asked the taxi to stop. Then again, the guy came to me, he said, stop, you should come back. I said, oh, I don't come back. And I ran away, I just said the taxi driver to run. Then I was at home. They took the other 3 journalists, they were with me. They didn't run away. And then they called me, said that, Sarah, you should come here in the station. Otherwise, we are hostage because of you. I said, no, why you shouldn't run away? You should run away. I said, no. I said, I won't come. They should come after my door and take me. Otherwise, I won't come by. I was really stressed, too much stress to me. It was really a bad day, but finally, really some Indian helped me. And that day, I'm really thanks from the Indians. And I called them. He said, don't go there. I will go there. And he released that Afghans. And I said, Zara, it was 10 p.m. He said, don't go there. It's solved. It's
So
solved.
what makes you go on after, I'm sure this is not only one incident, you must have gone through so much.
After that, I attend too much times to the things. But, I was not guilty, really. They don't allow me as an Afghan, as a female, to work. And then I have to make some other, why? When there is some international foreigners, you allow. And for Afghans, you don't allow. But that thing, I just did, cover that, attack and these things on my own, nowhere. I see nowhere the footage, these things to broadcast it, nothing. Because
what makes you go on doing it despite the threat, and what makes you stay here, not leave?
I think the only thing, I came in Afghanistan in 2011. That time, my brothers, my sister, all of them, they broke their relationship with me. They got very angry with me. They said that you're really crazy. You're doing the things, despite you're coming to in the United States or these countries, it's better for you. It's a stable country. You're going to Afghanistan. Afghanistan is a non-stable country. You're trying your best approach, your dreams, achievement, and then it becomes zero. It's all. And my father now, it has been 2 years that he passed away. But my father was always with me. He said that it's better to become a teacher in your country rather to be a big businesswoman in another countries. It's really proud. Go to your country, it's better and start from zero. And I came here alone. That time was really tough even for me. I had a PhD degree. With 2 master degree, I came in this country. I know at least I was better than others. That time was it was not too much people, even they didn't have bachelor degree, but I had PhD degree. And I know at least Urdu, English, Dari in other languages, but no one gave me a job. And I became a teacher in a very district areas with a 2,500 Afghani, salary. Even as a receptionist, I gave an interview as a receptionist and no one hired me. I said, oh my God. And he said, oh, you studied in Pakistan. You studied in a neighbor country. And it's wasting time. It doesn't work. I started from that time from zero and I became a journalist. I realized success. I could have approached my dreams, achieved my dreams to make a station for women and train them everything. And then again, after 10 years, again, it became to zero, equal to zero. But really, that time was really also tough for me because I came here from a modern life, a luxury life. I had a luxury life. Everything was available for me. But I came here, even I was living with in the same school I was teaching, and then in the same school I was just have a room and staying on that. Really, it was really hard, especially if you're living in a village. So, of course, there is no opportunity, nothing. But the thing is that I really never thought that I should leave my country because it's my homeland. It's my homeland, and I know, that what's homeland. I know you have lots of difficulties in your country, but you never leave your country. No, everyone is like this. I think everyone should stay in their country, in tough times especially. In tough times especially that we are saying that I'm a journalist. If I leave the country, then who will cover that's going on? If a one that is journalist, if a one is a powerful, if the one is activist, all of them is leaving the country. So now just you can see around me, I'm seeing poor people, I'm seeing weak people, I'm seeing most children, most illiterate women, most people that just looking for a piece of bread. So how I should say that expected that this country will be changed? This country will be always like this. When my people will be a refugee, we are always thinking that we should leave the country. It's the wrong decision that we are taking. I hope that day when there was a plane here in the airport, believe me, that is that the plane was in the airport. Every day I used to go there and collect the reports. Every day I had the opportunity to leave. Everyone was asking me and I helped a lot. But I was very sorry. I thought that I hope my people had self-confidence and say that, no, we don't want to leave our country. I want to die here. Of course I will die. Who guarantee me that I will live long? Who guarantee? Everyone will die. If you stay in the United States, you will die. If you stay in Afghanistan, you will die. Of course, if not today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, one day. But I hope that my people, all of them, they had one decision, they got one decision. No, I don't want to leave. I want to die. I will die from hunger. They will put me in prison. They will give me, torture me, anything. It's okay. It's my country. It's happening to every other countries. I hope, I'm really angry sometimes with the people that they left the country. They had the opportunity to stay. So what would happen to them? Nothing. Maybe you will lose your life. It's okay. It's rather to die in your country. You had. It's my proud. I have proud to stay in my country, and something will happen to me. It will happen to me. Otherwise, that I will die in another country. Then they will bring my body here to have my grave. It's really shame. It's big shame. Sometimes it's happening to my country. The people, they are dying in another countries. Then their body, they pay a lot, their relatives, and bury them here in the grave. It's really a big shame.
Daranabi, I started this interview by saying you're extremely brave.
Thank you so much.
I not only know that after talking to you.
No.
Hats off.
I hope so. One day, if one day you will see me in another country, think that someone by force just put me there, but I will come back. I will wear burqa. I have 3 kinds of burqa, believe me. Most times I'm working under the burqa. But it doesn't stop me not to. Even if I'm in the country, I have lots of difficulties, believe me. But really, I keep working. I'm working.
All our support to you. Hats off to you. All power to you.
Thank you so much.
Daranabi, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Please do say.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And to all our viewers, do send us your feedback on this interview and our reports from Afghanistan. This is StratNewsGlobal, and I'm Amitabh Revi reporting with Rohit Pandita.